The first signs of trouble came with a subtle shift in the quantum communication network. Retaliation, a young communications specialist stationed at New Terra's primary orbital monitoring station, noticed the anomaly during her routine midnight shift. The standard background radiation of interstellar space seemed to ripple, almost imperceptibly, like a stone dropped into a vast, dark ocean. Her fingers danced across holographic interfaces, tracing the unusual patterns. Something was wrong. The standard communication protocols used by the Galactic Council's various member species were shifting, creating a harmonic dissonance that shouldn't exist. Aria's training kicked in, her mind processing information faster than most human analysts could comprehend. "Control, this is Aria Chen from Orbital Station Delta." She spoke into her communication link, her voice steady despite the growing tension. "I'm detecting multiple anomalous signatures approaching the New Terra system. Recommend immediate threat assessment." The response was routine at first. Standard protocol dictated a measured approach to any potential threat. But Aria knew better. The quantum signatures were unlike anything she had studied during her advanced training at the Terran Interstellar Defense Academy. They were coordinated, precise, and carried a level of technological sophistication that suggested something far beyond a standard patrol or diplomatic mission. New Terra itself was a marvel of human colonization. Established 32 years after humanity's first faster-than-light jump, the planet represented the pinnacle of human adaptability. Terraformed from a harsh, rocky world into a thriving ecosystem, it supported nearly 3.7 million colonists. Massive biodomes connected sprawling urban centers, while advanced atmospheric processors ensured perfect environmental conditions. It was more than a colony. It was a testament to human potential. The first weapons discharge came without warning. Massive energy signatures erupted from seemingly nowhere, cutting through New Terra's orbital defense grid like it was composed of tissue paper. Aria watched in horror as entire defense platforms simply ceased to exist, their complex technologies reduced to rapidly expanding clouds of superheated plasma. "This is not a drill." Aria's voice crackled across multiple communication bands. "Multiple hostile entities engaging. New Terra is under direct attack." Repeat, "New Terra is under direct attack." Her final transmission would become legendary. As the first planet-killer weapons began to charge, casting ominous green-blue energy across the orbital space, Aria's voice remained unnervingly calm. The quantum recording would later be analyzed by thousands of researchers, marveling at the absolute lack of fear in her voice. "They're not stopping," she stated matter-of-factly. "We are not afraid." The transmission ended as a massive energy wave consumed the orbital station. But those words would become more than just a final message. They would become a rallying cry, a declaration of human resilience that would echo across the galaxy. On the planet's surface, millions of lives were about to be erased. Entire cities would be reduced to molten slag. Families, children, entire generations would be eliminated in moments. The Galactic Council believed this would be a decisive strike, a warning to humanity about its place in the cosmic hierarchy. They were wrong. This was not an end. This was a beginning. The refugee camps stretched across 3 different solar systems, a testament to human survival. Makeshift shelters constructed from emergency habitat modules created a sea of silver and blue, each unit representing a fragment of a shattered life. Dr. Elena Kowalski moved between the rows, her data pad constantly scanning, analyzing, recording. Her eyes were dry. No more tears remained after losing everything. The research team she had built over 15 years, colleagues who were more than family, had been stationed entirely on New Terra. Brilliant minds, innovators, gone in an instant. At the central command tent, holographic displays showed the scale of destruction. 3.7 million lives represented not just a number, but entire networks of human potential. Each red dot on the display was a life erased, a story interrupted, a future stolen. "We're not rebuilding," Elena announced to the gathered military and scientific leaders. Her voice carried a quiet intensity that silenced the room. "We're reimagining." The Emergency Council represented humanity's best minds. Military strategists with combat experience spanning decades, quantum physicists who had pushed the boundaries of human understanding, xenobiological experts who had studied alien technologies for years. They weren't looking for revenge. They were designing a systematic, comprehensive response that would redefine human capabilities. Captain Marcus Rodriguez, head of Terran Defense Strategies, spoke first. "Our current technological approach is defensive. We need to become proactive." His cybernetic eye, a replacement from previous conflicts, scanned the holographic data with inhuman precision. Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura, a quantum computing expert, leaned forward. "Our neural-linked systems are promising. We can develop adaptive intelligence that learns and evolves faster than any known technological framework." His fingers danced across a holographic interface, demonstrating complex algorithmic patterns that seemed to move like living organisms. The plan took shape quickly. Instead of traditional military buildup, humanity would transform itself. Every research facility would be redirected. Universities would suspend standard curricula. Industrial complexes would be retooled. The entire human civilization would become a single, focused organism dedicated to one purpose, ensuring such an attack could never happen again. Refugee camps became more than temporary shelters. They transformed into innovation centers. Survivors with technical skills were immediately integrated into research teams. A young engineer who had lost her entire family began developing new quantum communication protocols. A former agricultural specialist started designing adaptive nanotechnologies that could reconstruct environmental systems. Elena understood the psychology of survival. Grief would either destroy or create. In this moment, humanity chose creation. The first breakthrough came surprisingly quickly. Within weeks, not months, the initial adaptive AI systems showed capabilities that shocked even their creators. They didn't just process information. They anticipated, learned, and evolved at exponential rates. "We're not building weapons," Elena told the council. "We're building a comprehensive response system that thinks, adapts, and protects." Outside the command center, the refugee camps continued to buzz with an energy that felt almost electric. Children played between habitat modules, their laughter a sharp contrast to the serious discussions happening inside. These children would be the first generation shaped by this moment, not as victims, but as architects of humanity's next evolutionary step. The Galactic Council had intended to crush human spirit. Instead, they had ignited a transformation that would reshape the entire cosmic landscape. Humanity was no longer just surviving. They were preparing to redefine the very meaning of technological evolution. The underground research facility beneath the Atacama Desert hummed with an energy that defied conventional understanding. Massive quantum processors created intricate light displays that seemed to dance between dimensions, their computational power unlike anything previously conceived by human or alien minds. Dr. Elena Kowalski stood at the center of organized chaos. Holographic interfaces surrounded her, each displaying complex algorithms that morphed and reshaped themselves in real time. Her team worked with a synchronicity that bordered on telepathic communication, a result of the neural-linked research protocols they had developed in record time. "We're not just improving technology," she explained to the visiting Defense Council. "We're fundamentally reimagining how intelligence can function." The neural-linked combat systems represented the pinnacle of this reimagining. Traditional artificial intelligence had been a linear process: input, processing, output. What the human researchers had created was something entirely different. These systems didn't just process information. They anticipated, learned, and evolved with each microsecond of interaction. Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura demonstrated the latest prototype. A test subject sat in a neural interface chair, surrounded by a sphere of holographic sensors. As complex combat scenarios played out in the virtual environment, the system didn't just respond, it predicted, adapted, and created entirely new strategic approaches that no human or previous AI could have conceived. "Watch the predictive matrices," Hiroshi explained, his fingers dancing across multiple holographic interfaces. The virtual combat scenario showed impossible maneuvers, strategies that seemed to bend the very rules of tactical engagement. The neural link system was learning faster than anyone had thought possible, consuming decades of strategic knowledge in mere moments. Nearby, another team worked on nanoswarm technologies. These weren't just microscopic robots. They were adaptive systems that could reconstruct matter at the molecular level. A small demonstration chamber showed how these nanoswarms could transform a solid metal block into a complex mechanical device in seconds, then reshape it again into something entirely different. Captain Marcus Rodriguez reviewed the latest test results, his cybernetic eye, a testament to previous technological advances, analyzed data streams that would overwhelm a standard human brain. "We're not just creating defensive capabilities," he muttered. "We're developing a comprehensive adaptive response system." The quantum computing breakthroughs were equally revolutionary. Traditional computing relied on binary systems, zeros and ones. The new human quantum processors worked on principles that seemed to defy known physical laws. They could process multiple potential outcomes simultaneously, creating computational power that made previous supercomputers look like ancient calculators. Dr. Elena watched a young researcher, Maya Chen, work on a particularly complex adaptive algorithm. Maya had lost her entire family in the new Terra attack, and now channeled that grief into creating something extraordinary. Her fingers moved with a combination of mathematical precision and artistic creativity, developing systems that seemed to breathe with their own form of intelligence. "We're not just recovering," Elena reminded the team during their daily briefing. "We're evolving." The research facility operated on a 24-hour cycle, with teams working in perfectly synchronized shifts. Every breakthrough was immediately shared across multiple research centers. What would have taken decades was now being compressed into weeks. Humanity had transformed its entire civilization into a single, focused research organism. Outside the facility, the world continued its normal rhythm. But here, beneath the Atacama Desert, the future was being written, not with weapons, but with pure, unbridled human innovation. The Galactic Council had believed they could eliminate humanity. Instead, they had just accelerated the most significant technological leap in cosmic history. The operation began with absolute silence. No alarms, no physical weapons, just lines of code that moved through alien communication networks like invisible ghosts. Dr. Elena Kowalski watched from the underground command center as the first wave of quantum viruses infiltrated the Galactic Council's most secure systems. Holographic displays showed intricate pathways of data, each line representing a complex infiltration algorithm that adapted and reshaped itself in real time. Captain Marcus Rodriguez stood beside her, his cybernetic eye tracking the digital invasion with mechanical precision. "We're not launching an attack," he said quietly. "We're performing surgical precision." The first target was the financial infrastructure of the primary Galactic Council worlds. The quantum viruses didn't simply disrupt, they dismantled. Banking systems began to experience microscopic inconsistencies. Transaction logs became fractured. Economic algorithms found themselves solving impossible mathematical paradoxes that existed only in the most advanced human-designed code. On the surface of distant alien worlds, nothing seemed immediately wrong. A merchant might attempt a standard transaction and find it slightly delayed. A government official would notice a minor discrepancy in a financial report. These were not catastrophic failures, but death by 1,000 digital cuts. Maya Chen, the young researcher from the quantum computing team, monitored the infiltration from a secondary station. Her fingers moved across holographic interfaces with a dancer's grace, making minute adjustments to the quantum virus's behavioral patterns. Each adjustment was a strategic decision, turning the digital infiltration into a living, breathing system of disruption. Critical infrastructure began to feel the first real impact. Planetary defense networks experienced subtle communication delays. Life support monitoring systems started reporting inconsistent data. Communication grids developed microscopic latency issues that would be nearly impossible to trace to a single source. "They won't even understand they're under attack," Elena remarked, more to herself than to anyone else in the command center. The strategy was brilliant in its complexity. Humanity wasn't launching a traditional assault. They were systematically undermining the entire technological and economic framework of the Galactic Council. Each quantum virus was an adaptive entity, learning and reshaping itself with every interaction. Communication satellites began to experience unexplained signal degradation. Interstellar trade routes found their navigation systems developing unexplained computational anomalies. Transportation networks experienced microscopic routing inefficiencies that would take months to fully understand. Marcus watched the holographic displays with a strategic eye. "We're not destroying," he explained to the team. "We're demonstrating that their entire technological superiority is an illusion." As hours passed, the first signs of panic began to emerge on the monitored alien communication channels. Confused reports, conflicting data streams, the initial whispers of uncertainty that would soon become a full-scale crisis of confidence. Maya noticed something extraordinary in the data streams. The quantum viruses were learning, adapting, creating new pathways of infiltration that their original programmers had never anticipated. They were evolving in real time, becoming more sophisticated with each passing moment. "This is just the beginning," Elena said, her voice calm but carrying an undercurrent of intense determination. The Galactic Council had believed they could eliminate humanity with a single devastating strike. Now they would learn that human innovation was a force far more powerful than any weapon. Humanity's first strike had been delivered, not with explosions or physical destruction, but with pure adaptive intelligence. The transmission began at precisely 300 Galactic Standard Time. Every communication channel across the known universe seemed to simultaneously pulse with a signal that defied conventional interference protocols. Dr. Elena Kowalski stood in the central communication hub, her hands steady as she initiated the most comprehensive psychological operation in human history. The holographic displays around her showed the potential reach of their transmission. Billions of receivers across hundreds of alien civilizations. "Information is our primary weapon," she explained to the communication specialists surrounding her. "We're not just sharing data, we're rewriting the narrative." The broadcast was meticulously constructed. Raw surveillance footage from New Terra played in crystal clear resolution. Each frame was accompanied by precise clinical data, coordinates of destruction, exact number of lives lost, timestamps of each moment of the attack. No emotional manipulation, just pure, unfiltered information. Maya Chen had spent weeks developing the transmission algorithm. It wasn't just a simple video broadcast. The signal contained multiple layers of data designed to bypass standard communication filters and psychological defense mechanisms. Each alien civilization would receive the transmission in a way that would be most psychologically impactful to their specific cultural communication patterns. Captain Marcus Rodriguez monitored the initial response channels. His cybernetic eye tracked thousands of communication streams simultaneously, analyzing the psychological impact in real time. The first reactions were predictable: confusion, followed by a growing sense of horror. The transmission included something unexpected: personal stories. Not just statistics, but carefully curated personal accounts from survivors. A child's drawing found in the ruins of a destroyed habitat. A research log from a scientist who would never complete their work. A marriage certificate of a couple whose lives were cut short. "We're humanizing the destruction," Marcus noted, watching the data streams, making it impossible to ignore. Alien communication networks began to fracture. Some species initiated immediate investigations into the Galactic Council's actions. Others began internal debates about their own role in the broader galactic community. The carefully maintained illusion of unified galactic governance was crumbling. Intelligence reports streamed in from deep cover operatives. On various alien worlds, public opinion was shifting dramatically. The clinical, data-driven approach to sharing the attack's details was far more powerful than any emotional appeal could have been. Maya discovered something extraordinary in the transmission's aftermath. The algorithm was collecting response data, learning how different species processed the information. Each civilization's reaction became part of a growing intelligence network, providing insights that went far beyond traditional intelligence gathering. "They're not just seeing the attack," Elena remarked, reviewing the initial analysis. "They're experiencing it." The psychological impact spread like a quantum wave. Diplomatic channels became channels of accusation. Internal political structures of various alien civilizations began to destabilize. The Galactic Council's carefully maintained facade of moral superiority was being systematically dismantled. Communication specialists worked in perfect synchronization, tracking and analyzing every response. This was more than a counterattack. This was a complete restructuring of galactic information dynamics. As the hours passed, it became clear that humanity had discovered something profound. In the age of advanced communication, information was the most powerful weapon. Not destruction, not physical force, but the ability to present truth with absolute clarity. The Galactic Council had tried to erase humanity. Instead, they had given humanity the most powerful tool imaginable: the ability to make the entire galaxy truly see. The neural-linked strike team assembled in absolute silence. They weren't soldiers in the traditional sense. They were living weapons, a perfect fusion of human intelligence and adaptive artificial systems. Commander Aria Rodriguez, named after the young communications specialist lost in the initial attack, stood at the center of the preparation chamber. Her neural interface gleamed with a soft blue light, connecting her consciousness to the most advanced tactical system ever created. Around her, 5 other team members prepared, each a specialist in various advanced technological disciplines. "We are not an assault team," Aria briefed her squad. "We are a precision instrument of strategic intervention." Dr. Elena Kowalski watched from the control center, her hands hovering over holographic interfaces that tracked every microscopic detail of the team's preparation. The neural linking technology represented the pinnacle of human innovation, a system that allowed instantaneous communication, predictive tactical analysis, and adaptive response capabilities that defied conventional understanding. Each team member wore a specialized neural link suit that was more than protective gear. It was a living, breathing extension of their cognitive capabilities. Quantum processors woven into the fabric could analyze millions of potential scenarios in milliseconds, providing tactical insights that went beyond human or artificial intelligence alone. The mission target was a critical Galactic Council communication hub located in a heavily defended star system. Traditional military approaches would have required massive fleet deployments. This team would accomplish the objective with 6 individuals. Maya Chen, monitoring from the research station, had developed the neural link algorithms that allowed the team to function as a single, cohesive intelligence. Their thought processes merge, creating a collective consciousness that could anticipate and respond to threats before they fully materialized. Tactical projection shows a 99.7% probability of mission success, the team's AI support system announced. But both Aria and Elena knew that numbers told only a fraction of the story. As the team prepared for insertion, something extraordinary began to happen. The neural links started to demonstrate capabilities that went beyond their original design. The team members could literally see through each other's perspectives, share tactical information at the speed of thought, and adapt to changing environments with superhuman precision. The insertion point was a seemingly impenetrable space station orbiting a neutron star. Conventional wisdom suggested such a mission was impossible. The radiation levels, defensive systems, and spatial complexities would defeat any traditional approach. But this was not a traditional team. Their approach defied every known principle of space infiltration. They didn't attack. They became part of the system. Neural interfaces allowed them to slip through communication networks like digital ghosts, their presence so subtle that defensive systems couldn't distinguish them from standard data streams. Captain Marcus Rodriguez monitored from the command center, his cybernetic eye tracking their progress with mechanical precision. "They're not breaching the system," he observed. "They're becoming the system." Within hours, the team had complete access to the most secure communication networks of the Galactic Council, not through brute force, but through an adaptive intelligence that could reshape itself instantaneously. Elena watched the mission unfold with a sense of profound understanding. This was more than a technological breakthrough. This was a fundamental reimagining of human potential. The Galactic Council had believed they could eliminate humanity. Instead, they had just witnessed the birth of a new form of intelligence, one that was part human, part machine, and entirely unpredictable. The battle space defied conventional understanding. What the Galactic Council believed would be a decisive confrontation became a demonstration of humanity's most revolutionary capabilities. Quantum entanglement weapons emerged from seemingly nowhere, striking multiple strategic targets simultaneously across different star systems. These were not traditional weapons, but living systems of computational destruction that could predict and neutralize defensive capabilities before they could be activated. Dr. Elena Kowalski watched from the Central Command Center, her hands moving across holographic interfaces with a precision that seemed to merge human intuition with machine efficiency. The nanoswarm technologies represented the pinnacle of human innovation. Microscopic systems that could deconstruct entire planetary defense platforms and reconstruct them into entirely new configurations. "We're rewriting the fundamental understanding of conflict," Elena explained to the assembled strategic team. Her voice carried a calm that belied the extraordinary events unfolding across multiple star systems. Maya Chen monitored the adaptive response systems. Each nanoswarm was more than a weapon. It was a collective intelligence that learned and evolved with each microsecond of interaction. Entire fleets of alien defensive systems found themselves systematically dismantled, not through traditional destruction, but through a complete reimagining of their fundamental structures. Captain Marcus Rodriguez tracked the strategic progression. His cybernetic eye processed millions of tactical scenarios per second, providing insights that went far beyond traditional military planning. The human response was not about eliminating an enemy, but about demonstrating a fundamentally different approach to conflict resolution. The Galactic Council's most advanced technologies became obsolete in moments. Defensive systems that had taken centuries to develop found themselves completely neutralized by adaptive human technologies that could predict and counter strategies before they were even conceived. Area Rodriguez led the neural-linked strike teams. Their consciousness merged into a single adaptive intelligence. They moved through complex defensive networks like digital phantoms, their ability to predict and respond happening faster than any biological or mechanical system could comprehend. Entire planetary defense grids transformed before the eyes of stunned alien observers. Weapons platforms became communication relays. Defensive satellites restructured themselves into complex research stations. The nanoswarm technologies didn't just destroy. They'd reimagined the very concept of technological infrastructure. "We're not fighting a traditional conflict," Area communicated to her team through their neural link. "We're demonstrating an entirely new approach to existence." The most shocking aspect was the precision. Civilian infrastructure remained untouched. The human response targeted only strategic military and governmental systems with a surgical accuracy that seemed almost impossible. Maya discovered something extraordinary in the data streams. The adaptive systems were learning at an exponential rate, developing capabilities that went beyond their original programming. They weren't just responding to threats, they were anticipating potential future conflicts with a level of insight that seemed almost prescient. Elena watched as entire star systems found their most complex technologies systematically neutralized. But this was not about destruction. It was about demonstration. Humanity was showing the Galactic Council a fundamental truth, that true power lies not in the ability to destroy, but in the capacity to transform. As the final strategic systems were neutralized, something became abundantly clear. The Galactic Council had attempted to eliminate humanity. Instead, they had unleashed a force that would reshape the entire understanding of technological potential. The battle was over before it had truly begun, and humanity had changed everything. The negotiation chamber was unlike any diplomatic space in galactic history. Holographic interfaces surrounded representatives from multiple alien civilizations, with Dr. Elena Kowalski standing at the center, not as a conqueror, but as an architect of a new understanding. Survivors from New Terra sat among the diplomatic delegation, not as victims, but as living testaments to human resilience. Maya Chen, now a lead strategic advisor, stood beside Elena, her presence a quiet reminder of the transformation humanity had undergone. "We are not here to seek retribution," Elena began, her voice calm and measured. The translation algorithms captured not just her words, but the nuanced emotional undertones that made human communication so unique. "We are here to establish a new framework for galactic coexistence." The representatives from the Galactic Council shifted uncomfortably. Their most advanced technologies had been systematically neutralized. Their military capabilities had been demonstrated to be fundamentally obsolete. Yet, humans showed no interest in traditional conquest. Captain Marcus Rodriguez presented the first proposal. It wasn't a list of demands, but a comprehensive framework for technological and cultural exchange. The proposal included open-source research initiatives, collaborative scientific programs, and a complete restructuring of galactic communication protocols. Maya's adaptive communication algorithms worked in real time, ensuring that the nuances of human communication could be accurately translated across different species' communication systems. Each word was a carefully constructed bridge between fundamentally different ways of understanding existence. The survivors from New Terra played a critical role. They weren't seeking revenge. They were offering a path forward. Personal stories of loss transformed into narratives of hope and potential cooperation. Their presence was a living demonstration of human capacity for healing and growth. "Our response was not about destruction," Elena explained. "It was about demonstrating that technological superiority is meaningless without ethical understanding." The most radical proposal came next. Humanity suggested a complete restructuring of the galactic governance model. No more hierarchical systems that allowed for systematic oppression. Instead, a collaborative framework where each civilization could contribute its unique perspective. Quantum communication networks, developed during humanity's response, would become the new standard. These networks weren't just communication systems. They were living, adaptive intelligence platforms that could facilitate unprecedented levels of understanding between different species. Aria Rodriguez, leader of the neural-linked strike teams, presented the technological capabilities they had developed. But instead of showcasing them as weapons, she demonstrated their potential for scientific research, medical breakthroughs, and environmental restoration. The negotiation wasn't a surrender. It was a reimagining. Cultural exchange programs were established. Scientific research initiatives that would have taken centuries were suddenly possible. Humanity's adaptive technologies would be shared, not as a tool of dominance, but as a collaborative opportunity for galactic advancement. As the negotiations concluded, something profound became clear. The attack on New Terra had not been humanity's end. It had been their beginning. Maya looked at Elena, understanding passing between them without a word. They had transformed a moment of absolute destruction into an opportunity for unprecedented cooperation. The Galactic Council had tried to eliminate humanity. Instead, they had unleashed a force that would reshape the entire understanding of technological and cultural potential. A new chapter for galactic civilization had begun, and humanity was leading the way.